Thank you all for coming. During this lecture and the coming time, I'll be explaining the meaning of bubble languages. This is not a commonly used term, as bubble languages are only a theory at the moment, but it's important to understand what they are for you as communication students, as these languages might pose a great obstacle in the future. For a simple introduction to bubble languages, we can turn to dialects. These are defined as a particular form of a language which is peculiar to a specific region or social group. In other words, dialects are slightly altered versions of a language in which a specific region or social group can communicate with each other, which other social groups or people who don't live in that region may have trouble understanding or speaking. Now, I want you to imagine a dialect of a certain group being pulled so far away from the original language that it barely resembles the original language anymore. A dialect that has been altered to such an extent that speakers of the original language can't make out what the speakers of the dialect are saying anymore. Normally, this would be known as a new language. However, a new language is usually only formed in the scenario that it's a geographically specific group that speaks this new language, not a social group. Now, that second thing is what a bubble language is. Not officially a new language on a technical level, but a very far-stretched dialect that a specific social group speaks. For an example, one could look at the internet. Within certain groups online, certain words and phrasings are seen as standard language. Terms like hit points, ULTs, command grabs, skill ceilings, all of them are in a certain bubble of people who interact with the same media. They're not necessarily geographically linked. A random person on the streets of Russia or Africa has about the same chance of knowing what they mean. But online, these people know exactly what they're talking about to each other, and that can be an obstacle for communication, advertisements, and other things you might do after you graduate. Every bubble language, while technically being derived from an existing language, can almost be seen as its language on its own. New terms are being found for new bubbles every day. And it's your job as communication graduates to know how to link these to the correct bubbles and allow people from different bubbles to understand what others are saying, communicating effectively using bubble languages and more. There are tragic examples of people who tried to appease their target audience only to scare them away terribly by using the wrong terms. Not speaking the language of your audience is, as you all know, quite terrible for results. So during this course, I'll be helping you all to find ways to identify and deal with bubble languages, so that when these arise even more than they already have, you won't be caught off guard. Now, please all open your textbooks to page 5 and we'll probably start our lesson.